What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Steam Deck OLED and LCD gameplay video for you guys today. And today, we're gonna check out Liminal Exit. Now, I've been a big fan of Liminal games ever since I can't remember which one I tested first. I think it was just called Liminal. Or maybe it was Liminal Universe? I can't remember now. Been too long. But I really like those ones. I kinda like them more than the ones where things chase you. Like, I'm not as good with the actual literal backrooms games. This is like backrooms adjacent. So far, I've never really had any creatures chase me. It's just about maze work. No, I've always liked mazes as a kid. I was that one who loved those little placemats they had as a kid, even though they were easy as hell, obviously. But I always loved doing those, so hey, not surprising I'd also like it here. So we're gonna see how Liminal Exit works, and we'll see if it's the kind of game that's so hard to run, we might have to test it on everything. But it also might be so easy to run, there's no point in going past the small form factor PC. And some would argue there's no point in even doing that, but I just like doing that one for fun. I mean, hell, all these videos are just for fun, really. And they happen to help people make purchasing decisions and let them know, hey, does this run decently? Maybe, maybe not. And just because it runs well enough for some might go, no, not good enough for me. For like people like me. If you like 60 FPS all the time, then heck, Steam Decks really aren't even for you, to be honest. But I can also deal with 30, 40 FPS on a little handheld. Either way, that's neither here nor there. Why don't we go ahead and get into the game?
Alright, we're just going to go with Ultra, which is the default. It's probably going to go not well, seeing as I'm only getting 20 in the menu, but sometimes menus are just overly crazy, hard to run for no reason. But this time, I don't think that was the case. Hey, but either way, why don't we go ahead, hop onto the game, and let's go find out. Now we'll drop it down to low, which gives us pretty playable FPS, but there are times where it does drop under 30, and then it does get, I think, too hot or something, and then it starts throttling and dropping down to like 6, 7 FPS. Sometimes even down to 4, but that's not the game's fault. But it gives you pretty playable-ish FPS this time around, if you exclude the throttling part. But there will be some parts in the game, especially the lower levels, that are quite a bit harder to run. Those ones will probably struggle to stay even at 30. Those are probably like 20 FPS kind of levels. But if you're okay with that, then you'll probably be good. But hey, let's go see what it can do here.
Hello there. So you decided to be in the program. What a great decision. But now you must be wondering how to reach the bliss, or how to exit the program. But you have to be a deranged one to want to leave. Now, no need to worry. I'll explain everything one by one. Whether to exit or to reach bliss, it comes down to the decisions you make when you encounter an anomaly. But what is an anomaly? It can be anything abnormal with the environment, like objects being out of place, weird experiences or sounds that are unnatural. This all can be called an anomaly. Now, what to do when you encounter the anomaly, or when there is none? It's simple. First move to the second lift on the floor and locate the floor buttons. Then, if there was no anomaly on the floor, press P. This stays the same.
All right, even though it's stupid and I know it's not going to run well, I just want to see if there's any like big difference between this and the original Steam Deck. Most of the time there's not, but every once in a while there'll be like a 2 to 5 FPS difference. But I think this time around it's like a 1 to 2 FPS difference, if that. But it might even be like the exact precise same. But hey, you guys can see that easier than I will be able to. So, let's go see. All right, now we're going to do what we did on the LCD and just drop it down to low on the OLED here. And then you get playable-ish FPS here too. This does seem to do a little bit better, like maybe 2 to 3 FPS better. But maybe I'm just being placeboed, but that's what it sure looked like. And of course, you get a lot more battery life on this guy. The other one was dead pretty damn quick. I barely got done. Now I was down at 20%. And I don't really like getting lower than that if I can help it. But anyway, it's game time.
Hello there. So you decided to be in the program. What a great decision. But now you must be wondering how to reach the bliss, or how to exit the program. But you have to be a deranged one to want to leave. Now, no need to worry. I'll explain everything one by one. Whether to exit or to reach bliss, it comes down to the decisions you make when you encounter an anomaly. But what is an anomaly? It can be anything abnormal with the environment, like objects being out of place, weird experiences or sounds that are unnatural. This all can be called an anomaly. Now, what to do when you encounter the anomaly, or when there is none? It's simple. First move to the second lift on the floor and locate the floor buttons. Then, if there was no anomaly on the floor, press P. This stays the same, regardless of the floor you are on. But in case you found an anomaly, then simply press the same button as your current floor number. For example, floor 3 means button 3. Now, let's assume you do want to exit the program, even though that would be psychotic. But program understands your wishes and simply wishes you good luck.
Alright, let's get some camera recording gameplay now. It seems just barely playable. It still will drop down like 28, 29 here and there. Okay. Now, the thing about this is where I got messed up. Alright. I don't think I saw an anomaly. Now see, this is where it got me before. Here we go. So X does it. I thought you had to use the little Steam thing. That's how I was doing it before, and then clicking with that button, but it seems like it's X. Okay, so 3 is crossed out, and there's a 3 here. Honestly, can't remember if there was one of those things before, but that's what makes this one a little bit different. And yeah, this definitely doesn't seem quite right. I don't remember there being 2 doors there. I could be wrong though. Like I said, I wasn't paying that close attention. I thought there was only 1 door. And I thought it was right there. But again, not paying attention, that's probably all completely the way it was. The whole point of this was to pay attention, not fail hardcore at that. But I only skimmed, as usual, what to do. Okay, that's still all dark. The pool looks the same. Clock, I think, even has the same time. There's 3 chairs. Wasn't there more chairs? I could have sworn the chairs came to here. But see, that's the kind of shit that's fucking with me. I think all that's normal. And I thought there was more of those right here. But again, wasn't paying attention. So I'm probably just making that all up in my head. So let's go see. What's what? And yeah, obviously this game, being as hard as it is to run, drains the battery on this son of a bitch like you wouldn't believe. Like, we've only got 19 minutes left already. So you're not going to be playing much. Alright, now it says 2. Nope, I messed that up. I'm just going to do it again, see what happens. And I guess if this doesn't work, we'll go back to park. Hey, no, that's definitely different. It says 1 instead of 2 this time. That alone is different. Okay, that's definitely different. So I'm pretty sure that means I hit P. I'm going to go read those instructions one more time real quick. Okay. In case of anomaly, if you encounter something abnormal, like I said, we were on floor 3, so just hit P. If everything's normal, go hit P. So no, that was not right. There was definitely no flamingo the first time around. I definitely remember that. Okay. Alright, this is going to be a little bit
curious. I'm gonna have to remember like the colors of all this shit. I am probably gonna fail hardcore on this one. Ah, so I'm a vampire. I don't show up in mirrors. Good to know. I'll make sure to stay out of direct sunlight then. Open door. A little shower. And then there's like a ladder that goes down into a white room down there. Oh, but you can't go down there to check it out. I didn't think so, but I wanted to check. I like checking these things. Now what do we have in here? It's like the shower room. There's 3 showers, and there's an exit. With a bunch of tubes. Okay. Alright, I don't know how you're supposed to know, so I think you just hit that. 'Cause I don't know, yeah, I think everything is normal the first time around. How are you supposed to tell if it's abnormal? I didn't hear anything weird or see anything weird, but I haven't been through there before. Okay, so there we got 5. Okay, let's see. Are all of these the same colors? I think so. I could be wrong on that though. I'd never remember that. But that's definitely different. It just said 2 before. I remember I came over here. Okay, yeah, nope. There was nothing in the mirror before. So that alone means we hit 2. I think I'm starting to get it. But I have a feeling this is going to get really freaking hard. Who knows? We'll just watch. I'm going to go up here and get owned in the face. And that's not right at all. But I think it's right. Okay. And now that alone says 4 instead of 5. Or 2. And it said 5 last time, but when we started it just said 2. So I wonder if that literally counts as just being different. That's the one thing I'm not 100% sure on. Alright, nothing in there this time. Same weird zombie thing. I think the time is the same. The door is even open. There could have been something very small different, but I am not seeing anything different so far. So I'm going to say we're good. I'm probably wrong, but that's what I'm going to do. Okay, that little door is open and everything. Okay, so it still does drop down into the 20s and whatnot, but I'd still say it's borderline playable. It's not the most fun when it does that, but you're literally just walking around slow as shit. So I'd say borderline playable for some, but I would like at least 30 FPS myself.
We'll see if the Steam Deck OLED can just barely do that. That's usually the difference between the two. Sometimes if this one struggles to stay at 30, the other one will just barely stay at 30. Alright, I don't know, that seemed like everything was the same besides that number on the wall. Okay, I'm just going to say it's normal though. Because that might just be the variant thing. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And then I'll probably pass out and end up back in the freaking elevator. I think that's what happens when you're wrong. Will that number change? Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely not right. Oh boy. My Steam Deck is not happy with me. See, this is the problem with my Steam Deck. If you play a really hard to run game, it'll randomly drop down to like 4 FPS sometimes. But I don't think everyone's will do that. I think mine just needs like a repaste or something. Because if you watch all of the like GPU and CPU stuff drop down to like very slow megahertz, so it's like it's throttling or something. Even though you wouldn't think 80 would be that hot, 84 to whatnot isn't that bad. It seems hot, but for a little tiny thing like this, that's really not that bad. So yeah, there's definitely some anomalies there. I'm definitely going to hit that. And I also think we'll go ahead and move on over to the OLED. Alright, let's get ourselves a little camera recorded gameplay now, and it seems like I messed up. Now I'm like trapped in here. So I'm just going to try going into this darkness, because I have no idea where else to go. There was probably some noise or just something I couldn't hear, and I picked wrong. Just a guess. Hey. Hey, you know better than that. Don't mess with the Batman chair, you silly kitty. Anyway, sorry about that. Misty was trying to climb up the Batman chair. So I guess I just restart. There doesn't seem to be any way to make the game restart itself. Yeah, I must have just messed up and they just punish you by trapping you eternally. Oh well, that's my fault. Yeah, definitely did better on the LCD Steam Deck. Oh no, there we go. We closed those two doors and now that opens. Cool. I figured there had to be something. Generally, games are just like, haha, you're stuck here forever, restart the game. Quit the whole game and restart. I mean, I'm sure there's a couple out there like that, but it's not very common. But yeah, I think that might have been considered an anomaly. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that was an anomaly. So let's go in here and say so. Yeah, okay. Everything seems to be... Hey! And she's going for the E one. I don't care about that one. That one got destroyed by just me, Danielle,
Misty playing on it and everything. So she's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go play on that one then. It's like, no. Just because it's destroyed doesn't mean you can destroy it further, you silly kitty. But see, I think that's a lot better. Just redirect their attention somewhere else. Instead of sitting there and being like, oh my god, what the fuck? You're doing random things and being inquisitive like a cat is? How dare you do what cats do? I didn't really see anything. I'm just going to say it's safe. I might have missed something, but I think that's safe. I didn't see anything or hear anything. There could be some really small differences I'm just not noticing. Like, I don't remember those floaties being next to that one thing, but they were probably there the whole time. But if we got put back to 3 with no number, I must have messed up and it put me back to the start. So I must have guessed wrong somewhere there. But again, I didn't really see anything, so... Oop. Little wonky. So 3, 4. Alright, what's up with this one? Okay, yeah, definitely an anomaly. There was definitely no flamingo there. They make that one pretty painfully obvious. Okay, so yeah, definitely an anomaly there. Okay, now it says 3 instead of 4. Alright. What do we got this time? You know, I think those floaty things are always there. Yeah, on the LCD I got all the way down to level 1. This time I seem to be having more issues. I think they're giving me smaller issues and I'm just not noticing them. Okay, so it's this one again. Now we know what to do. So easy peasy. think there's anything different. Let's see, this is where they're probably getting me. There's probably something, one little tiny thing different. And if I say it's fine, they're going to send me back to the beginning. But I just don't see nothing. It could be something as different as the clock being at a different time. Well, that's not a clock in a regular sense. That must be like a stopwatch type clock for like swim training or something. Because that's definitely not how a normal clock looks, that's for sure. Who knows, maybe that's the abnormality. But everything looks fine, so. Hey, we finally made it to 2. Yeah, it looks like this one still drops a little under 30 in the same area, so both the Steam Decks in this particular game seem to be like same. But still, both basically borderline playable. Alright, I didn't see anything. There was no bear. The bears. Yep, and they could change colors on these and I'd probably never notice. Hopefully that's not one of the abnormalities, but I guess we'll find out. Alright, no creepy bear this time. No random statue that I can only see in the mirror. No, this time everything so far seems good. Oh wait, no, the exit's usually there.
I'm hoping that opened this up. But yeah, I think that's pretty abnormal, so we're gonna go ahead and say as such. Man, these are fun games. I have fun with these. Alright though, I think that's probably more than good. And wow, yeah, it drops all the way down to like 19 FPS in this room still. Alright, no, it's because they did like crazy ass shit in here. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you'll think, oh, 30 FPS most of the time, it's totally borderline playable, but yeah, in times like that, it drops all the way to 20. So that's not exactly fun. So that's why I say it's borderline playable, but I wouldn't have a lot of fun even with a walking game at 20 FPS. I know it's not like that on every level, but heck, there might be even some that are even more advanced than that. You know? But yeah, that definitely wasn't like that before. Yeah, and see, now that we're out of that particular one, look at the FPS jump. So certain abnormalities seem to take up way more power. But glad that happened. Now we know that there's going to be some points where it's going to drop all the way down to 20, even on look. So that's why I'm going to just call this one, I think, borderline playable. I could play it, but there's definitely times where I'm like, ugh, this is gross. Definitely wish we got 30 plus all the time kind of situations. But let's go wrap up, shall we? Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Liminal Exit on the Steam Deck OLED and LCD. And it was borderline playable-ish, but even on low, I'm glad I played for long enough to notice this, but even on low, there'll be certain abnormalities that drop it all the way down to the 20s. So, I mean, if you could still handle that, then cool. Me, I think I'd like a little bit more performance than that, even on a game where all I do is walk around at 1 mile an hour. That's just me. Could I play it? Yes. Still having fun, but I'd still prefer a little bit more performance. But that's just me. But if the Steam Deck can play it like this well, I don't think anything else should have any issues. But we'll see. But that's all for this video, though. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.